Gigi reading FoodWISE, Sustainable Fish. The 5 species of Pacific salmon are each a little different, but they share what is perhaps their most important characteristic. They are anadromous. That means that they spawn, i.e. reproduce, in fresh water, mainly streams, migrate far out into the ocean to grow and mature, and migrate back to fresh water to produce the next generation. Populations of Pacific salmon are a shadow of what they were once along most of the US and Canadian coasts. Populations in Alaska generally are in better shape. Often 4 broad categories of causes have been blamed, the 4 H's: harvest, habitat, hatcheries, and hydroelectricity. Each H plays on a vulnerability somewhere in the anadromous life cycle. Harvest as a problem is self-evident. Too many fish were being caught to allow enough of them to swim upriver to spawn and produce the next generation. Habitat in this context is understood to mean the condition of the spawning streams or lakes in the case of sockeye or red salmon. The lakes or rivers or estuaries where the salmon are reared, and the oceans where the salmon grow and mature. Everything from water overuse for agriculture to contamination from urban industry damages habitat. Hatcheries, which raise Pacific salmon species from eggs and release them into the wild, seemed like such a good idea, a way to increase salmon populations for greater harvest. But in recent decades, the logic of hatcheries has been challenged because of concerns about hatchery fish competing with wild populations, and concerns that the resources going into hatchery research and development might divert attention and funding from efforts to recover natural populations. The last H, hydroelectricity, refers to dams. Many salmon rivers have been dammed, mostly for electric power generation, although some also provide water for irrigation and extend the range of boat transportation. Dams block salmon migration, both the adults going upstream to spawn and the young salmon coming downriver to the sea, unless accommodations are made. Many, but not all dams have fish ladders intended to allow the adults to get upriver, and some dams are managed with structures and/or procedures to help the young salmon get downriver, such as catching them and carrying them around the dams. Despite these measures, dams impede salmon. Not surprisingly, what to do about dams is highly controversial. So in FoodWISE, I'm trying to give a full story, a wise story, using the wise lens of what's happening with world fisheries. The article tonight takes a look at what's happening with world poverty, and it is increasing, and coronavirus is a serious factor in that. So I've included that article, but I've also mentioned the kind of research that needs to be done in understanding fisheries.